Alrighty. Okay, so this should be fun. I'm Patrick Webb from Heaps Good Productions in Norway, and I'm about to give a little bit of a demonstration on a multi-camera live production setup with a few extra little special bits and pieces to ensure full control over the whole situation when filming live events. That includes audio, video, and also some other gadgets to make the production a little bit more interesting. So I'm gonna switch over to the control panel here. So what I'm running here is the ATEM Mini Pro. I've got 4 cameras plugged into it today. Now, the cameras that I use, it's a little bit of a mixture, but I find that they work very well for me. So I've got 3 Blackmagic cinema cameras, and I'm also using mostly Zeiss glass, and on one of the cameras I've got a Falklander 20mm, which all have quite similar characteristics and sharpness, and that's sort of something that's quite important, especially when doing this one-man band stuff. It's always very interesting to go, okay, well, how do I maximize the potential within within a live production environment? And I get asked a few times, okay, how do you do it? How do you set it all up? Well, this is where I hopefully can show people a little bit about what I do, what equipment I have chosen, what do I use, how do I use it, and how does it work together. Now, the ATEM is a great little product. You know, I don't need to say too much about that. I'm running this little Shure FP22 field mixer. It's a great little device. You can see here you can control the audio, and this is what I'm running my microphone into right now. And I can monitor it with headphones and all this kind of stuff, and it can tell me just here with the indication meter if I'm it's talking too loud, and then what I can do is I can bring that down if I really want to. I can really control this one. You can control that, of course, in the ATEM software on the computer. However, I find that with this little mixer here, that I can have full control, especially when playing with live music. This little mixer here has limiters. Now, I know the ATEM Mini Pro also has some form of limiting technology in there, but I like to have analog control when doing my live productions. So also, when working with multi-cameras, it's always good to kind of be able to monitor your stuff. Yeah, I'm going to switch over to just another view. So as you can see here, yeah, we've got the full panel set up here. I've got my headphones for monitoring. I've got my laptop computer for just checking if streaming and recording is going well. It's got all my bits and pieces here. I've got my media. I've got my audio here. I don't need to go too much into the program, all this kind of stuff. There's plenty of stuff on the internet to be able to clarify all of that. My monitor, of course, for checking what's going on my program, and all of my other cameras that I've got here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's all my status bars and all of that. Really cool, interesting stuff for us camera nerds. As you can see here, I've got a little remote control here. This is a let me see if I can get a better view. I'm going to switch over to camera 1 here. This is a red mode. And this one monitors my red camera when I'm doing productions. You know, it tells me if temperatures are okay. I can change exposures and temperatures if need be. But generally, I just leave that one for monitoring purposes, and that's that. Yeah, so in this little viewing, I'm just doing a demonstration to show actually what I'm capable of doing as a one-man band. So audio, simple mixing, because when doing multicam setup, it can be a little bit hectic. And also, say for example, if you're doing live concerts, sometimes static cameras can be a little bit how to say it, I don't know, just a little bit boring. It's not as dynamic as one would like to be. So I'm going to show off something that I put together here, and it's just a little bit of experimentation, and this is what it's all about here. So none of this is like tip-top ready to go, but it's quite interesting. So I'm going to switch over to another one of my cameras, actually displaying what I put together here, and what I've got in my hand here is my telephone with a Ronin S app here. So I'm going to switch over, and as you can see here, I've got another one of these cameras, Blackmagic Cinema camera, on the Ronin S. So what I've got here on my app, and I'll just quickly go down here, I've got full control over the Ronin. So if I switch back to the Ronin, we'll start to move it around. As you can see here, I can move the Ronin and the camera, perspective, angle, all this kind of stuff to my heart's desire. And this is really good because when doing this live stuff, say for example, if somebody moves on stage and walks out of frame, especially if you've got static cameras, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying when all of a sudden your camera angle has changed. So this here, I thought, okay, well, the Ronin S is really good for a gimbal, but I also thought, why not use it for the multi-cam setup? So I probably would plug in a controller. I know that you can get a like a PlayStation controller or something like this, and you can kind of control it a little bit more accurately than the touch screen. However, I'll just give you an example from the feed on this camera what it can do. So it's not too bad. It's pretty stable. There's not too much wobble or anything like this. Of course, it depends on the stand that you put it on. Yeah, I tend to try and innovate my setup as best as possible, especially when working with this kind of stuff, because it's good to be as flexible as possible, I feel, especially when you got like this hectic, fast-paced kind of environment. So as you can see here on my right-hand side, I've got one of these lovely red cameras as a studio camera right now for a live setup. And this has got lovely picture and all this kind of stuff here. So going back to the gimbal one, yeah. So as you can see here, I've balanced it with the SDI cable, and of course all of the cameras are plugged into power during this. So, I mean, that's the only way to go, really. But this is like, for me, a no-brainer. If I was able to have a Ronin S on every camera and have these cameras kind of set up around the room, fix them to walls, put them on stands or tripods, and am able to really hone in on perfecting a good composition, that would be really cool. However, in this case, I've only got one, and one is, I feel, sufficient enough in this one-man band scenario. Yeah, so that's the most exciting aspect of it. The full control with the multi-camera. The only thing is with the movement of this camera is that I can't focus it. So it's still relatively static. And if anybody moves closer or further away, then I'm kind of a little bit, you know, unable to exact that focus. However, you've got to have some form of compromise, I guess. And none of these lenses are automatic driven; they're all manual driven. But that's fine for me in this particular circumstance. So I think that's really fun, and I think that's really innovative, and it's amazing what one can do with a little bit of technology around them, a little bit of experimentation, especially when trying to deliver something for a client who demands good quality, but at the same time the budget isn't so high. And this is what I found with particularly after all of this pandemic stuff. There's been a lot of streaming, and the A10 minis and all this kind of stuff were flying off the shelves. It took me about I ordered one, and it took me about three months before it came up here in Norway. So it was crazy, and I know I've been waiting for such a long time to get all of this set up and ready to go to do live gigs, and it's taken me some time to work on some other jobs to be able to save up some cash to get all of these bits and pieces. And it's really exciting, when you can control everything right at the control desk. You've got full control over your audio and stuff like that if you want to make it a little bit quieter or bring it up higher, and of course when working with a sound guy, that's fantastic. I like to work with the sound guys because they have full control over the mixer desk, which they should do. And then I can also just monitor and have full control over what's coming out of the mix desk into the little mixer here. And also monitor once again and make sure that that's a good signal coming into the A10 Mini Pro. And yeah, again, with camera controls and all this kind of stuff, it's really nice to be able to, I'll give you a bit of a demonstration here. So if I'm just to go down here and say, for example, I go, as you can see, it's probably a little bit blue. So maybe I just want to warm it up a little bit. So here we go. I can hone in on the color temperature here, which is great. So if I leave it at that looks fine to me. Maybe a little bit warm in some aspects, but it's fine tuning the image. I also know that, for example, in the A10 Mini Pro, the A10 Mini Pro software, that you can also do a little bit of color grading in when you're working with it. But I haven't actually done it live before, and not with the cinema cameras. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a test here right now, just to see if I'm able to change any of that. So it looks like that anything on my lifts there. Let's have a look at the gamma, and then I can bring that over. No, unfortunately, I don't think I can do that with the cinema cameras through the ATEM software, unfortunately. But that's okay. I mean, if you set if you know your temperatures and you set your cameras accordingly, and I'm using all cameras of similar sensor quality. They're all cinema cameras set to video mode when sending out a signal via the SDI, and with the red, I'm sending out a signal via HDMI because I am missing a box for my SDI. So I'm still waiting for one of them to come in, but it seems to be that Blackmagic has a big back order for some of these small boxes. I think they've released a new one now, so I'm still waiting for my order to come in. However, it's super good with the flexibility of the A10 Mini Pro, even though it's got HDMI out. I'm just going to switch over to the Camera 3, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of the cable mess down the bottom here. If it doesn't seem to want to go down any further, so if we have a look down here, I'm running a small converter. So this sends the SDI signal, which is coming out of the cinema cameras, and converting it into an HDMI signal, and then sending it all the way up. Let me see if I can do it. All the way up to my ATEM Mini Pro here, and that works. That works really fine, and I think this is really amazing. The inexpensive gear that you can get here to be able to hook it all up together and to be able to create a live production. Of course, with these little converter boxes, they need to be powered by HDMI. Not HDMI, USB micro, I think it's called. They're kind of like an old or standard phone charger, small 5-volt. So I've got a multi-USB power box here, sending out power to those little boxes here. And I'm also sending out power to my red mode. Also, you probably noticed down here I've got a switcher. This is really important because when you are doing streaming and stuff like that, and you've got a computer and your ATEM plugged in, you could use the USB-C and run it as a webcam through the computer, but I find that that's a little bit I don't know, I haven't seen it to be as something that I enjoy so much to use, so I prefer to send the ATEM information out via the via the Ethernet into a network switch, and also plug in the Ethernet switch to the computer as well. I'm getting confused with all of the different names and stuff like that, so excuse me on that one. And I create a small network there, and then I can also run the internet through the Ethernet switch and or through the wireless on the computer as well, to be able to send out a signal if I'm doing streaming. However, I find that it seems to be a little bit more stable. In my case, probably it's fine in other people's cases. I like to record all of my shows, so I have a little Samsung T5 drive, and that's got the USB-C into the ATEM, and that's what I'm recording this content now live. That's what works for me. I know some people do other things differently, but with my last few productions, there have been some great successes, and for me, it's been a great learning curve to be able to try and get this working as best as I possibly can with the equipment that's available to me, without kind of breaking the bank, but also trying to utilize most of the equipment that I have in my arsenal to be able to work together. And I find that's really important, especially when working alone, especially with video production. And it's not all the time, but sometimes when you're in a bit of a pinch and some of your clients can't pay a lot of money for having individual camera operators, it really pays off to be able to know all of these different elements that sit on the table here, and to be able to work with it efficiently enough under a little bit of pressure, say for example a concert or a speech and stuff like that, and still create the best available product for your customer, and pass that over to them. So I know that this is probably run around 20 minutes now, as I can see here on the record time, about 20 minutes. But that's the basic setup that I wanted to demonstrate for anybody who was wondering what is involved when it comes to film production, when it comes to live production, particularly multicam setup. I think a lot of people are a little bit, especially if they've never been introduced into it before, it may seem like, wow, it's like a TV network really expensive, crazy stuff, when in fact it really isn't. It can be really, how to say it, available for almost everybody and at different budgets, Of course, each event is very different when it comes to recording. There are so many cool possibilities, and I feel like that within my heaps good possibility here to be able to create, put stuff together, and I've been working very hard for the last, let's say last year, to be able to get all of this kind of working really nicely together, and working for me. And I don't know what else to say. I think it's a great success, and I want to really thank a lot of people on the internet for creating tutorials and creating cool content to be able to learn, because I sit on YouTube, for example, and or like the Blackmagic forums and other places there, and there's so many people creating good content and good learning material for people to go, yes, I can apply that to my work, and I can really appreciate that. And I also want to be able to share a little bit of an insight to how I create my productions and work, and how that works for me, and also to kind of demystify, say, potential clients who go, well, that's just impossible for me, when I can firmly say, no, it's not. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to set all of this stuff up naturally, especially when coming into a place. I find that sometimes we're struggling a little bit to supply power and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to documenting very important events, documenting people, documenting musicians, and all this kind of stuff, it's really exciting. Today, what can be produced by a small number of people. And I believe that's all I'm going to say. I feel like I've touched base on everything. I've touched base on the audio elements of my live setup, with my little mixer. I'll give a little bit of a summary. So the audio elements, the video mixing elements. So with the ATEM, wonderful piece of hardware, with a wonderful piece of software. Of course, my mixer for full control. I've got my camera control and monitoring. I've got my full station here, which I can really see what's going on in the live action, and to really, kind of go, okay, well, I'm going to switch over to camera 3. Boom, here's a bit of action going on. Hello. I don't know. I think it's really exciting times for everybody in the industry, and everybody who wants to create really good content at the highest possible quality available. And so if you have any questions, of course, feel free to write to me. You can send me an email at patrick@heapsgood.no. Or you can leave a comment in the in the comments field below. And also if you like what you see and you're a potential client who wants some multicam work done, just give me a call. I'm always up for a cool little discussion. To see what's possible for any events and or documentation. I think that's it. I think I've covered everything, which is fantastic. So that's me, Patrick Webb at Heaps Good Productions. I'm based in middle of Telemark in Norway, but I do international stuff. But because of the coronavirus situation, it's all kind of like inland operations at the moment, and I'm kind of happy about that. And yeah, I just want to say stay safe, stay creative, and we'll probably chat in the comments, chat in my email, chat on the phone, chat in person. Until then, take it easy.